Hey there, Angry Faithful. I just wanted to drop in, bend your ear a little bit, get your attention. So if you're not listening, drop what you're doing and pay attention to me because I'm here to inform you that not only can you get your daily, maybe if you're binging it, I'm not sure, that's entirely up to you, but you can multiply your doses of angry me fuckery by paying attention to all of the platforms upon which you can find either the dulcet tones of my voice and David's voice or my pretty face and David's not so pretty face. Anyways, digressing, we not only on we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we're on Rumble, we're on Google, Apple Podcast. We have a TikTok page. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and of course Facebook. So if you find yourself fuckery deprived, curl up with a nice hot mug of shut the fuck up and just listen. Open those ear holes and be prepared to be cream pied like it's the first time. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on Nerd Sports, we're going to talk about the ancient art of telephone wrestling. In Russia, they started putting people in a telephone booth and just wrestling inside that telephone booth. They also have another one. I was going to use this too, but fuck it. I'm going to do a two for today. They also have car wrestling, to where they sit in a car, they seatbelt each opponent, and then they unbuckle each other, and whoever can get unbuckle the fastest and beat the shit out of each other.
I used to do something like that in high school. It was similar.
Yeah,
you wouldn't beat the shit out of each other, but there was some slapping.
Yeah.
it was setting up a mosh pit in a car, you know. And it seemed like everybody's favorite song to mosh in a car too during the late '90s was "Break Stuff" by Limp Bizkit.
Oh, of course. That's. I mean, if that song doesn't make you want to break shit, then
right? Because I mean, I was living in Nashville when that song came out, and I'm out with a bunch of friends of mine, and we are absolutely up to zero good. And dude's driving around in a big body Monte Carlo, right? And we pull up to this stoplight, and a Nashville Metro cop pulls up next to us, and that song comes on, and we just start beating the shit out of each other. And I'm in the passenger seat. My buddy's over there. He's like shoving me up against the window, and the cop looks over, and I look over and I wave and I just go, bop, like that. And I dot my buddy right in the face.
Oh God. I mean,
it looked like the cover from Vulgar Display of Power. And I rolled my window down, and the cop was like, "Are you boys okay?" And then he heard what we were listening to, and he goes, "Never mind. Carry on."
Yes, sir. Never better.
Another thing we got to do on our TikTok page. We finally, one of our videos hit finally. It's at 10K right now, and got to thank Tansy and let everybody know in November. He hasn't given me an actual date or a pre-order website or anything like that, but Tansy has he's going to put out a book called Pig Latin, a serious true story. Has a pig on it with a cop hat and sunglasses. Check it out. We got one funny story on our TikTok page and most of our pages on Facebook, Instagram, all that place. But he literally, that story has hit like big time. Everybody loves that story of him tasing a chick in the fucking coochie. So
great story.
Oh God,
that was a good story.
Yeah. So, okay. Twitter news, right? Everybody knows that Elon Musk finally bought Twitter, right?
He brought in a sink. Let that sink in. Yeah, totally.
Right. But when he fired the top 3 executives at Twitter,
I thought he fired
them and gave the reason for the termination was for cause, in quotation marks, right? Those 2 magical words enabled him to negate
their $122 million stock option buyout.
Oh,
that's
shit.
fantastic.
That is amazing. And so then he comes out a couple days later, and he was talking about making the check mark, the verification, a paid service for $20 a month, right? That comes out to about $240 a year. Not a bad price.
No,
You get all these butthurt liberal like journalists and celebrities like Stephen King. They're talking about, oh, I'm out of here, blah, blah, blah. Well, first off, you're not going anywhere because I'm leaving Twitter is the new I'm moving to Canada, right?
Exactly.
Basically.
Then Elon Musk today gets into it with a journalist. He's talking about how it's just, it's going to be the end of the platform because it's going to allow all these other people to come in that don't have credentials. I mean, the guy was making a complete ass of himself while he was trying to make a point that he failed to make. And so Elon Musk comes back and replies and he says, well, I'm thinking about that. How about $8 a month? Then it became official later today that the verification process is going to be $8 a month. It's a paid service, comes out to about $96 a year, right?
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. Even $240 a year was not bad.
No.
Right? But $96 a year, that's an amazing price. And on top of that, what it's going to enable Twitter to do is create a revenue stream, and it's going to make it easier for Twitter to pay content creators.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking. Angry Product One, us, Angry Me Productions. Once that officially goes into effect and they start taking applications for the verification process, I say we get our podcast verified.
I was gonna say, if you guys aren't in the first wave to get that done.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
I mean,
One
I'm
of the
willing
best.
to come out. I'm willing to come out of pocket myself for the first year alone.
Oh hell yeah, I'll chip in on that.
Don't worry.
But moving on from all of that,
one of the best things about the Twitter though is now you're starting to see Biden get fact checked.
Oh, dude, that was fucking hilarious, man.
Thing
and I love the fact that people like Steve Peralt and stuff like that, staunchly conservative individuals that had been getting shadow banned on Twitter in the past were, I mean, that whole first day was like, men can't get periods, men can't get pregnant, only women can get pregnant. Biden didn't win the election. There are only two genders. I mean, they're just dropping one-liner knowledge is a bomb or knowledge bombs. And I am soaking it up and I am loving it. And then here comes LeBron with his, well, I'm calling on Elon Musk to stem the tide of the increase of N-word slurs. And it's like, why do you even care? I mean, and I've been on Twitter almost nonstop for the last 3 days. I haven't seen a single, and I follow a lot of people, and I go to a lot of the trending hashtags. I have yet to see a white person use the N-word in a tweet.
I can't wait.
I'm not saying that they're not out there.
Yeah.
But as far as
it's not as prevalent as they're trying to say.
Yeah, as far as the trends are concerned, it's not really out there. I think that it's a false argument. It's a stickman argument. It's a diversion. They're trying to make it to where, I mean, one of the easiest cards that you could ever pull is something is now suddenly racist. Well, okay, that's always the first argument that somebody pulls out of their back pocket when they're losing the actual argument.
Yeah.
So, another thing that I love that Elon Musk did is that he locked all the Twitter coders out, all the Twitter engineers out of the code. And he brought in Tesla engineers to read the code to find out where the algorithms were coming from. And he's looking at phone logs, looking at message logs. I mean, he's looking at everything. And all of these Twitter engineers and all these Twitter execs are just probably sitting in the corner, sucking their thumbs, tugging their ears. They're in the fetal position. I mean, they are just absolutely shitting their pants right now. And I think it is hilarious.
Yep.
And Donald Trump, the Honorable Donald J. Trump. Yes, I said honorable because why? Because he was president.
Exactly.
he, he put out a statement, and at the end of the statement, he said, "It's great to see an African American owned business."
Yes.
People on Twitter lost their minds. And you could tell who the undereducated drones were, because they were like, Elon Musk is not African American. And then, I mean, and then immediately you saw people coming out of the woodworks like, I'm sorry, is being African American limited to only being black? Because there are white Africans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Charlize Theron is,
I mean,
African American.
Elon Musk was born in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, okay. I mean, I get it. And good on Donald Trump for playing that and just kind of putting that out there, knowing that it's undisputably true, but at the same time, he knew what it was going to cost.
Oh, for sure.
And, when I'm like, okay, for as much as we wanted Donald Trump to stay off of Twitter most of the time when he was in office, because he handled his own account, unlike, say, like Joe Biden, or Nancy Pelosi's gay husband.
Oh God.
Way to drop the hammer.
Yeah.
Right? We need a sound effect for a mushroom cloud. But
flawless victory.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
But I mean, Donald Trump, I mean, is he
back on Twitter?
And that was one of the more appealing things that drew us to him in the 2018 elections. Was it 2016? When did he take office? 2018?
2016.
2016. Yeah. Okay. So, and that was one of the things that drew a lot of people to his campaign, to his, just made us a large part of his base, is the fact that he didn't care.
Right.
And, he was all fine and well and good and popular with the Democrats when he was donating to their causes and attending NAC or NAACP or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he was being invited to functions by Jesse Jackson, by Al Sharpton. I mean, per capita, he was probably a larger capital investor for a lot of African American, Black American owned businesses than any other billionaire or millionaire in the world.
Right.
And, yeah, I mean, the guy's made some questionable decisions in his personal life, but I mean, who hasn't?
Yeah.
And it's just the fact that of his stature, the fact that he was running for president, the fact that he was president, everybody decides that they want to jump on this because they want their 15 minutes of fame. I'm looking at you, Stormy Daniels, but because let's face it, nobody since your little diatribe in court has anybody even looked at your videos, free or otherwise. But anyways, I digress.
There's two more things. I hope they bring back Alex Jones. And I love the fact that they had two guys. And I still want to know if these people were paid by Elon Musk. They went out in the front. They had like their office supplies and everything.
Yes. I saw that.
And they fucking had like Michelle Obama's book. There's like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for my Tesla now since I'm fired. And if you look at the names on these, basically look at my balls.
Mm-hmm. It was one was
Dick.
Yeah, well, no, it was one was like first name Ligma, and then the other one's last name was
Johnson.
Johnson. The other one was like Wilma Johnson Fit or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Elon Musk, if you look back through his Twitter history, he's the quintessential 12-year-old. Okay. Mm-hmm. You look at the models, you look at the name of the Tesla models that are out there. The Model S, the Model E, the Model X.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
so I was like, okay.
When little kids with too much money have their way.
Well, what I love the fact is that Elon Musk, I mean, on top of the fact, I mean, part of the reason why he has zero filter is because he's got Asperger's.
Yeah.
And he's been unapologetically open about that. I mean, he even stated so during his monologue on SNL.
Yeah, he's also got when you mix Asperger's with "fuck you" money, you get Asperger's.
Yeah. I mean, the guy runs like 9 different companies.
Exactly.
I mean, when you open a company called The Boring Company, and the first product that you put out on the market for people to buy is a flamethrower.
No, it was a hat. Then it was a flamethrower.
Yeah, that's right. But still, you make a flamethrower available to the general public. I'm like, dude, yes, so much yes contained in that one little statement right there.
Exactly.
But all right, so we're gonna move on here. Let's look at. Oh my God, can you hear the dogs going off in the back?
We can hear the dogs, yeah, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So
let's go.
Okay, World Series. Game 3 of the World Series is going on right now. The series is tied 1 game apiece. This is actually, I think it's going to be a really good series. I'm looking for it to go at least 5 games. So, I mean, Philly managed to pull off the split at home. Of course, Philadelphia Phillies fans in true Philadelphia fan style are just absolute trash right now. And yeah, I mean, I know that I live in the Houston area. I'm not an Astros fan. If you were watching on video, you can tell I'm not an Astros fan. Okay.
Who do you root for, Johnny? Everybody can't. They have to hear it. Just because you have it on video, the people that
listen. Wicked big Sox fan.
Okay, there we go.
You even said it correctly. That's awesome.
So, if you don't like the way that I talk about your team or your fan base, well, yeah, bud, I got a harsh piece of reality check for you. You can go fuck yourself and stay fucked, okay? All right. Anyways, moving.
Makes me want some clam chowder.
All right. So MLB announced that the roof was going to be closed for games 1 and 2 here in Houston. And Justin Verlander, all right, he goes out, he gets a 5-run lead, and he cannot keep it. Like, absolutely cannot keep it. Justin Verlander now has the highest starting pitcher ERA in World Series history at just a tick over 6, right? So I'm like, all right, somehow, some way, Justin Verlander is going to have to. He's going to have to turn that around. He's going to have to come out and he's going to have to win his next start in Game 5. Now, this is probably one of the more evenly matched World Series, teams. Well, let me start over. This is one of the most evenly matched World Series that we've ever seen. So, I mean, the Phillies, they don't have the greatest pitching. They maybe have a 1-2 punch in their rotation, and their bullpen on the back end has got some skills, got some talent. They got hot at the right time. And I've said it before in episodes past, Chris, I know that you can back me up on this, but generally speaking, with the exception of maybe a few teams, like the 2018 Red Sox, when they went from basically wire to wire. Well, no, not wire to wire, because they got swept by the Orioles in the opening series of the 2018 season, but they went on to go gangbusters and they finished with like 118 wins that year. But I mean, they were the number 1 seed. They had the best record in baseball that year. I mean, they absolutely dominated in almost every phase of the game. But it's not necessarily the best team that wins. It's the team that gets hot at the right time. Now, saying that, on the flip side, yes, Philadelphia is hot right now. They're riding this pretty good wave. I mean, they had to take the wild card route to get to the World Series. Nobody really expected them to be there, especially after they fired Joe Girardi about 30 or 40 games into the season. And we're sitting here talking about a World Series winning manager, and he can't do squat with this squad that has been built to do exactly that, win. Philadelphia goes out and they make a lot of really great moves at the trade deadline. They put themselves in a really great position. They knew that the division was going to be out of reach between the Braves and the Mets. They were like, all right, look, we're just going to give up on that pipe dream. We're going to focus on the wild card race, because they, again, expanded the wild card playoff format. And if that had not been for that, the Phillies wouldn't even be here right now. So they can turn around and they can thank Robert Manclown the commissioner, the commissioner of baseball for that. But
You mean the loser?
Huh?
You mean the loser?
The commissioner of baseball?
Yeah.
I've already Robert Manclown. You know, his last name is actually Manfred. I know I've made this reference before with you, David. Come on.
I know. I just want everybody to know that's the new to the listening audience. Our new listening audience.
Okay, all right. I wasn't going to call into question your DT scores or anything like that, but
I will. If you won't, I will.
You're fucking low.
It's like I will.
For you, motherfuckers.
But okay, so we're looking at the Astro side of it, right? So we got Jose Altuve. I mean, the guy's got like 3 batting titles. I mean, the dude is probably one of the more prolific hitters in the game today. And he starts on a historic 0 for 25 postseason drought at the plate. For whatever reason, he started to turn that around in game 1 when he hit that double. And then he goes 3 for 4 in game 2. And I'm like, okay, all right, we got something going here. So, you know, I'm like, all right. I mean, like, so the first pitch that he sees in the bottom of the first the other night during game 2, he ambushes their starting pitcher, and oh damn, Philly's already up 2-0. I mean, he ambushes their starting pitcher, and he puts one in the left field corner for a double. So, you know, and I'm like, all right. So we're starting to see him run the bases more, starting to, you know, try to get more steals. I mean, he was 1 for 2 the other night, but Bryce Harper hit a home run. Wow. Okay. Well, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a really good series. I mean, like I said, it's going to go at least 5 games. I would like to see it go 6 because I would like to see the final game being played here, but that requires Astro fans, to include my wife and her sister, to endure another Phillies win, at least during this season or series. But ultimately, I think that the Astros pitching is going to prevail, and the bats are going to come alive at the right time. And I think that Philadelphia is just going to be. I mean, their defense has been lacking all year long. So, you know, and I'm just kind of like, all right, let's just see how long this quote unquote Gold Glove caliber defense that they've been putting on during the postseason is going to last. So, and then my wife texts me, freaking Bryce Harper hit a homer. I know.
Oh God.
But so I'm like, okay, but it's going to be cool. I mean, they handed out the Gold Glove awards today. I think I'm going to go over that next week, just because there's a lot to digest there. You know, National League and American League players at their respective positions. You know, I really don't want to be on here for 2.5 hours because there is still a game going on in my living room that I would like to watch part of. But okay, so we're going to move into football. All right, now
let's just, on this, let's go ahead and just do this really quick because I know you got stuff to do. We still got to get Colin. Just if any.
Oh no, we're gonna do everything like we're normally gonna do.
Okay.
I'm not gonna rush. I just didn't want to go into a whole thing about who got a Gold Glove and who didn't, who got snubbed, and who should have gotten it versus who got it.
Okay.
I'm going to go over all of that next week because that's going to take at least 30 to 45 minutes just to kind of digest all of that. I mean, we're trying to cover a plethora of sports here, and anytime you use the word plethora, it lends an air of sophistication and credibility to your argument, right? So,
sure.
Moving on into football news, our picks last week kind of took a dump.
Like they usually do. Don't make this a surprise.
No. They do not usually, because I think as the record stands right now, we're still doing better than 500 on our picks. So slow your roll there, guy. All right. So we had the Ravens over the Buccaneers. Got that one right on Thursday night. You know, I just kind of said that
I think
Do what?
Brady on this one, because I actually watched this one. Brady on this one, he was kind of like lacking really bad. I mean, he just got the divorce decree that was going through, and he's showing his age now, which is really sad.
Yeah, I mean, him coming back for this final year, I mean, I was kind of torn on it because I'm like, all right, hey, you know what? Go out at the top of your game. Don't do what Joe Montana did. Because if you remember, Joe Montana thrived with the 49ers, and then he signs a deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, takes them to the playoffs that 1 year, and he doesn't even get out of the first round. And so that's what everybody remembered, so I'm like, all right, let's not do that. Let's not go the Brett Favre route either. So I mean, if it's a personal thing that he's got going on, then he needs to learn how to compartmentalize. I get it. I'm not trying to sound unempathetic or anything like that, but dude, you're a professional football player. You said the field is where you thrive. You came back specifically because you said this team was special. How about you show up to work and you start proving it? That's all I got to say. And I'm a Brady guy. So, I mean, for me to be able to say that speaks volumes. But the Ravens did go into Tampa Bay on Thursday night, and they did pull out a win, 27-22. So we picked the Broncos to beat the Jaguars. This game was played Sunday morning in London. And you remember I told you last week. Now, Chris, just so that way kind of a little bit of a history here. In last season, anytime that we picked the Broncos to win, they kind of shit on us and went the other direction. So we just said, screw it, we're going to stop picking the Broncos to win. And what did they do? They start winning.
Yeah.
So, I was like, all right, I'm done with these jackasses. So we picked the Broncos to win, and they did. And then, of course, Russell Wilson during his post-game interview talks about let's ride, and it's like, look, dude, I could see you dropping slogans and bumper stickers and T-shirt sales after the game if you've been consistent all year long. But let's face it, you're still 3-5. You beat a 2-6 team.
Yeah. Like, it's the Jaguars.
I'm like,
let's not go.
It's not a good look, man. It's really not a good look.
Exactly.
I mean, they had the same record going into this game. And I'm like, it's Jacksonville, man. I mean, granted, yes, Jacksonville's reeled off 2 wins, and they're slightly behind, like by a couple of games from the Houston Texans in the race for the number 1 overall pick next year. But come on, man. Oh, it's horrible. Well, I say that, but the Texans are still trailing the Lions for next year's number 1 pick. We'll get into that in just a second. Moving on, we had the Falcons over the Panthers, and the Falcons surprised us and squeaked it out by a field goal, 34-37. So now the Atlanta Falcons are up to 4-4 now, and the people in Atlanta don't know what to do. Do they cheer for this team, or do they still show up with bags on their heads? They don't know. And it's like Ricky Bobby. They're just kind of sitting there going, I don't know what to do with my hands, Then we had the Cowboys over the Bears. Now, I'm going to take a moment because David decided that he was going to take it upon himself with his infinite knowledge of football and pick the Bears to beat the Cowboys.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
No, I'm not mad at him.
I'm just disappointed.
Yes, disappointed in him. It's almost like finding out that well, I'm just going to say it at the risk of being canceled. It's like finding out that your son, who was destined for a Division I collegiate scholarship, is now suddenly very flamboyantly gay and told you that he wants to transition.
He could take up swimming.
He could take up swimming.
If you get canceled, I'm right there next to you, brother.
I'll be all alone on this goddamn fucking show now.
I mean, I've already got the bus pulled out of the shed, man. All you got to do is hop on.
Let's do it, man.
So the Cowboys beat the Bears 49-29. That was a defensive. I mean, that was such a that was a defensive gold mine for the Cowboys. Micah Parsons even scored a touchdown on that during that game. So, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm I'm more than pleasantly pleased with that. Moving on, we had Miami over the Lions. The Lions almost pulled this off. They almost upset us. The Lions are 1-6, but they still lost to the Dolphins 31-27. So eventually the Lions are they're gonna stumble into a win eventually. And I'm like, okay. So as it stands now, we are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're 5-0 on our picks so far. So maybe not so bad. We'll see how the second half of our picks go. All right. So moving on, we had the Vikings and the Cardinals. We had the Vikings over the Cardinals, and guess what? That one we had right too, 34-26. So now for those of you keeping score, that's 6-0 on our picks for the week. I think that puts us over 500. No, wait, we still got one more to go. We're guaranteed at least a winning week because we're going to finish at 5-5, right? All right. So, or 6-6. That's what it is. Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Yep, there you go.
All right. So we had the Raiders and the Saints. Now, this is where we're going to pick up our first L for the week because the Raiders showed up into New Orleans and put up a goose egg. I don't know why. Maybe because half the team showed up on Bourbon Street the night before and they were late getting to the stadium and they just grabbed people out of the stands and say, hey, put these pads and jerseys on. We don't know what else to do. I have no idea what the hell happened, but you showed up and you lost to a 2-5 team. You are now 2-5. The Saints are now 3-5. What is going on, people? Oh, wait, it's the Raiders. So, there you go. If you want to look for a more beleaguered and beat down fan base besides Lions fans and Browns fans, just look at the Raiders. I mean, come on. At least the Falcons have been to a Super Bowl this century. I mean, granted, Matt Ryan can't get away from the 3-28 thing.
Yeah. I don't know if they want to admit that they were there.
Right. All right. So we had this is where we had our second one. We had the Jets beating the Patriots, and on paper that should have happened.
Yeah, I was still not like guaranteed with that one because
So the Jets have been playing amazing football. They're 5-3 now, but the Patriots settled the score. They came back to 4-4. And they beat the Jets 22-17. I think that game was probably really close. Be that as it may, the Jets still have the lead in the division in the race for the division title. I look for them to pull away because their schedule looks like it's going to be pretty temperate as far as difficulty is concerned, at least for the next couple of weeks. We also had the Eagles over the Steelers. We got that one right. Obviously, the Eagles are the last undefeated team in the NFL right now at 7-0. They beat the Steelers 35-13. I picked the Titans over the Texans. They gave it all it was worth. They are now 1-5, and everybody say it with me. 1. So they are 7. They lost to the Titans 17-10. I think this was the game. Well, I would love to see the Texans and Titans win or play each other just to see who wants to lose the most. I mean,
it's the race to the bottom.
I mean, what was it, week 2 or 3 of the season? I went and played golf on Sunday, and we're out there on the golf course, and oh, yes, please, thank you. Is that the apple? Right? Yeah, there we go. Cookies. Thank you. I love you. All right. So
if I give you cookies,
I'm out there and we're on like the 13th hole or 14th hole, and we're letting a guy play through, right? Because there was like 4 of us, and this guy was playing singles, so he was playing pretty fast, right? So we're like, all right, dude, you can go ahead and play through. He's like, yeah, man, no, just take your time, go ahead. I'm gonna stay out and hang out here. He's gonna drink a couple of beers before he tees off. We're like, all right, cool. And he goes, anything is better than sitting at home watching the Texans lose. And I was like, yeah, I was there. I was there for the week 1 tie against the Colts. And he goes, what the fuck was that all about? And he goes, how do you give up a 17-point lead in the 4th quarter? And I was like, I don't know. But yeah, the Titans are not, I mean, they're 5-2, but I don't think their record reflects the level of urgency or talent that they've got on their roster this year. They're just, I don't know, man. I'm not impressed with Tennessee. I'm just not. Moving on, we had the Commanders of the District of Washington.
Thank God you said that.
Yeah, right. Over the Colts. And we got that one right. 17-16. So the Colts are now 3-4-1. So I'm like, all right.
I feel we had something to do with that. We should get a little bit of a, just like.
Yeah, but I'm not really counting on Dan Snyder to throw our podcast any kind of royalties because we picked him to win in a game just because Dan Snyder's like the world's biggest prick and all the other owners want him out, but he's kind of sitting there going, this is the hill I'm choosing to die on. That's going to be a fun execution to watch. So we had, moving on, the 49ers beating the Rams. Now, I told you that the 49ers were making a lot of headway as far as like trade acquisitions. They traded for Matt McCaffrey, and I was like, all right, cool. Now they've got a wide receiver. And the Rams, they're just playing. I mean, Matt Stafford remembered who he was when he was playing in Detroit, and he's playing that way. It's like, who are you throwing to, guy? I mean, it's like, you've never played for a team that's worn red or gold helmets. What's going on here? And I'm like, bro, come on, seriously. So 31-14 at SoFi Stadium, the 49ers go into the Rams house and embarrass them on national television, which I found hilarious because, well, let's just face it, I don't like LA. So we had the Giants over the Seahawks. This one didn't go so well. The Giants lost 13-27. So that's 3 losses that we've had on our picks.
But I'm surprised about the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I expected the Giants to show up because the Seahawks they're not really playing all that much of an inspired football right now. Yeah, granted, this is the first year with a new quarterback that's not named Russell Wilson. But they've got a record that's better than Russell Wilson and his Denver Donkeys. So it is what it is. We had the Bills over the Packers. We got that one right too, because the Packers went up to Buffalo to play the Bills and the Bills Mafia, and they lost in grand fashion. And I saw a meme the other day that they had Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady hugging each other post game, right? So they're both in uniform, and Aaron Rodgers is whispering into Brady's ear, going, "We should have retired last year." I'm like, okay, that's fair.
That's the basic fact of the Bills. They're contenders for the playoffs this year.
Oh yeah,
they might actually
Josh Allen,
Super Bowl.
Dude, Josh Allen is an absolute stud, and you will be very hard pressed to prove me wrong on that one. Very hard pressed. I'm looking for a repeat of the AFC Championship game, or the AFC divisional game where Buffalo goes in and beats. No, where Buffalo and Kansas City played each other, and then Patrick Mahomes goes 13 seconds, I've got this, and then drives the team down the field to win, ultimately to lose to the Bengals in the AFC title game. But yeah, I'm looking for the Bills and the Chiefs to face off against each other again in the playoffs. That is going to be a great game.
Yeah.
Now, the Battle of Ohio. It was a Monday night game. We picked the Bengals to beat the Browns. Not so much.
Billy just scored again.
The Bengals didn't even show up until the 4th quarter. I mean, it just seemed like the Bengals didn't show up until the 4th quarter. They lost to the Browns 13-32. And I'm like, whew. Now the Phillies are up 3-0 in
3-0.
the bottom of the second. But
scored.
Yeah,
Leadoff man just scored.
Yeah, but so let's see here. The Chargers and the Chiefs had a bye week this week, and when I saw that, and then I saw a meme that was just like perfect, right? Because the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out this week, and there was a meme that had Patrick Mahomes on it. It goes, "New Call of Duty drops, and it's a bye week." Oh yeah. Like I could just picture Mahomes sitting at home, on his Xbox or his PlayStation. But Mahomes strikes me as an Xbox guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can see him sitting at the house. His wife is like, are you gonna get up and do anything? Because don't you have practice?
Can't you take the trash out at least?
I was like, babe, really? I'm in the middle of a match.
Can't you just pause it?
Have you played the new Modern Warfare yet?
I haven't. I saw a walkthrough of the campaign, but
dude, it looks
gorgeous. It is.
Now the level where you go through the Texas trailer park and you have to aim your weapon at civilians to calm them down. People are losing their minds over this one.
If you don't, they actually start pulling weapons up.
They
will shoot you if you don't actually back
But here's the thing. People that are losing their minds over this level obviously never played the no Russian video or level in the original Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, because you're having to point at unarmed civilians.
You're having to go in through the Russian airport and mowing down civilians.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. That was a great level to play, right? Morally, you're sitting there going, I should feel wrong about this. But then the higher thinking, the rational side of our brains kicks in and goes, it's a video game.
They're digital. These aren't real people.
Right. It's not like you pull the trigger on your controller and you hear gunfire outside.
Right. But they're also, you're in a Russian airport. So
hold on. Might have to do an episode of Psychos of Sociopaths on me. I was like gay as
right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like we're living the peripheral, which
Did you catch the ending of the campaign though? The very end.
I did not yet.
Okay,
not yet. Not yet.
I'm not going to say anything, but yeah.
David and I started watching that show, the new Amazon show, The Peripheral, the same night. We didn't even talk about it beforehand. We just, I'm sitting down with my wife and my sister-in-law for dinner, and was like, what are we going to watch? I was like, let's watch The Peripheral because it looks really good. So she watched a trailer of it, and she goes, yeah, that looks really good. David texts me. He goes, The Peripheral. That's all he said. And I was like, dude, I know we're already starting episode number 2. And he's like, me too. So it was like
he sent me some videos on it. So now I'm like, dude, I gotta watch it now.
Did I see you the carrot and the stick one?
Yes,
dude,
that was one I watched that right before we got on here on the show.
Yeah,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That is an amazing show. But let's get into the picks for this coming weekend. All right.
Oh, before we get into the picks, we have to get in the main pick. The main pick between me and you and possibly Chris. The Falcons and the Knights this weekend. I know me and Chris are going to be hanging out this weekend and everything, but we got to get a little bit of leeway and find out who do we think is going to win between the Falcon and the Knights. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm not giving away who my pick is going to be for the week, but I'm definitely going with the Army.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Seriously, come on.
What do you mean, oh, man?
Or wait.
How are they not? Come on, man.
Hold on. I got you. I'm going to do you one better here. Chris, you're going to lose your mind here in just a second. You're going to be like, where the fuck did you get those? I'm going to show you.
If you pull out
this is who I'm picking.
Oh, come on. What?
Yeah, baby.
Oh, hell yeah.
So a couple of years ago, the last time Army beat Navy and they went to the Armed Forces Bowl, when Army won that game against the University of Houston, I mean, when they embarrassed the University of Houston.
I was gonna say, beat is a little nice.
My son and I, my oldest son Chauncey, went with me, and we took the field. And we sang second with Army, which was a very cool experience, right?
Yeah.
A senior lineman gave me those gloves.
Dude, hell yeah.
I'm like, yes. That's much awesome. Yes. So
there you go. That answers that question.
We're taking Army, obviously. Now, David, interestingly enough, and I don't know if this is an indication as to how he perceives life, what he identifies as.
I just like to
This is a judgment-free zone. Let me preface that.
But David wanted the loser to wear a dress. And I'm just here to put it out. Okay. You can check on every social media platform to include Reddit. If you are remotely turned on by femboys, you're gay.
So if anything attracted to you, you're gay.
I'm just saying, dude, you can't get away with thinking you're still considered straight if watching somebody flop around. No, that's just not.
It's 2022 though, Johnny. That's a lot of judgment coming from
you either put a Peter in your mouth or you don't.
I think the phrase you're coming up with, Johnny, is if I've seen a dick up close, like really up close.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that you know what it tastes like, but you have seen it up close.
And I'm not saying that David would enjoy a job with the TSA, but he did work corrections at a prison facility.
Yeah.
Dude, I have a story for that one.
Oh, no. Moving on.
No.
For the Thursday night game here this week in Houston, it's going to be the Eagles versus the Texans. All together now, we're picking the Eagles. There we go. The Eagles over the Texans.
No, see, if it's going to be unanimous, then I have to be the contrarian and say the Texans, right? Isn't that how this goes? I need to be the odd
not necessarily, because
there's no way you can defend this.
We don't want you to play the part of an idiot just for the sake of playing the part of an idiot.
I don't know.
It needs to come naturally. Is what you're saying?
No. What it is basically he's saying is he doesn't want the town idiot to have like his like glory day. Because you did pick that one like really right on.
I know you've heard this before, Chris, but common sense was an issue, but we need to use it anyway, right?
Nah, there's no fun in that.
Right. Okay, so here's the difficult pick of the week. The Chargers at the Falcons. The Chargers, I'm not sold on either team, so.
I like the colors.
And this is the only time I'm going to ever pick the Falcons this week to win anything, but I'm picking Atlanta to beat the Chargers.
Might be close.
Only because it's home field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's literally the only reason.
All right. Dolphins at the Bears.
The Bears.
Picking the Bears?
I gotta go Bears.
Yeah, I'll go with the Bears. Yeah.
All right. Panthers at the Bengals. Bear in mind, the Panthers and the Bengals are both coming off of a loss. Somebody's going to break their streak. So,
boy, I gotta go Bengals in this one.
I was leaning that way.
I gotta go Bengals.
Yeah, we're gonna go Bengals on that one.
I'm trying to think because believe they had. I don't know if it was the Panthers that lost somebody or another team.
Well, the Panthers lost McCaffrey because they traded him to San Francisco.
Okay.
And all Carolina got back was like some draft picks for next year.
Oh, okay.
So they're already looking to next year.
Yeah. Right here it says Panthers quarterback situation could get interesting moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because while Jeremy Mayfield does have skill, he has talent, obviously, to have reached that level, but he took a perpetually losing organization, i.e. the Browns, to the playoffs for the first time in like forever. But they kept changing the schemes, they kept changing head coaches. And then he goes to Carolina.
Which they're doing the same thing. They got rid of.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing. So, I think Jeremy Mayfield ultimately, or Baker Mayfield, I'm sorry. He's getting a bad rap. I mean, he really is. So I don't want to say it's the cards that he's being dealt, but I think he needs to make a statement. He needs to not necessarily go in and start ripping people's heads off, but he needs to go in and make be more of a leader in the locker room and start leading by example and start introducing a new style of work ethic to the Panthers culture. If that organization is ever going to think about turning things around, that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Philly scored again, by the way.
This is going to be the difficult one.
I know we recycle energy.
You're hitting the nail on the head.
Sorry.
Bless you.
I'm living for the day that David has like basically a wardrobe malfunction on the show, and I pray that it's during a live, like when how like he has these random bits of audio come up where it's like, "Stepson, I'm stuck in the dryer." We hear that play.
What are you doing, step bro?
Dude, it's a goddamn Yahoo Sports, man.
I'm in the shower. This is inappropriate.
I was like,
that's kind of an asshole.
Aren't our parents married?
I was like, damn it. Fucking can't.
Can't get Chris is frozen. Oh, there he goes. Okay.
Fuck.
Okay, here we go. Packers at Detroit. Is this the week that the Lions turn it around and effectively end Aaron Rodgers' career?
I don't think it's going to be the Lions. I got to go Packers.
I don't either, but how funny would that be?
I would absolutely laugh my ass off.
Yeah. I can't wait for that Christmas.
I did see on TikTok for it. There's a guy, he's a Lions fan on TikTok, and he goes, like they had an opportunity to win that game last week. Or on Sunday, rather. And then they blew it, right? And he goes, that's it. That is the straw that broke the back. I've had it with this team. I'm looking for a new team. I can't root for this organization anymore. He said, I'm looking for a new team to root for, but we're going to do it by process of elimination. So he's got a random a generator on his computer where it looks like the Wheel of Fortune. And he's just every week just eliminating another team. So the first team that he's not going to root for is the Chargers. Like, okay, I get it.
That's great. That's awesome.
All right, so we're picking the Packers over the Lions. Next, it's going to be the Raiders at the Jaguars. I want to pick the Raiders so bad.
I think it would be a good game, but
I agree. I think the Raiders are going to carry. They're going to carry it to them. I don't see how they can't win.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a hold of my old squad leader Chip Wilson. He is a diehard, avid, washed in the black, the black and silver Raiders fan, right? I'm going to see if he wants to come onto the show one week to give us an insight as to the inner workings of a Raiders fan's mind.
The psyche.
Yeah, exactly. I want his take on this, and I want him in on. I really want him to help us make picks for that following week. So I'm going to reach out to him. So David, you and I are going to have to work out some logistics if he says yeah, sure. So
all I have to do is send you.
All you got to do is just send him a Zoom invite. Yeah, I get it, but yeah, we're gonna work on that. So, Colts at the Patriots. I don't even have to ask. We're taking the Patriots on this one.
Of course.
It's like the Colts are going.
So what the hell?
What's the
when does the season start?
Like,
no, it's
has the season started yet? What usually we're playing by now.
No, it's one of those things of the Colts are just going in like John Travolta from Pulp Fiction.
Top of the third, Jose Altuve is up to bat, and the Astros are losing 4-0 right now.
Yeah, that's not looking good.
Yeah.
You might get your
chance
to go see the World Series there, buddy.
Huh?
You might get a chance to go see a World Series.
I was looking for game 1 standing room only seats, $475.
Lord.
And it's not the teams that set that price. Major League Baseball sets the price for playoff tickets.
Right.
Now, that being said, game 4 of the American League Championship Series in Yankee Stadium, those tickets started out at $220, right? The day of the game, they were available for as low as $20 a piece.
Oh, man. $20?
Dude, you want to talk about a ton of last-minute flights from Houston to New York City? People were flocking up there from this area to go watch that happen.
Yeah, I can see that.
I was just
yeah, you're able to get $20,
right? I mean, the amount of money that you're going to spend on the flight there and back, plus your game ticket. I mean,
that's it makes it easy.
Wow. I could hear people. I could hear my sister and my wife in the living room going, "Are you kidding me right now?" Oh, okay. Next we've got the Bills at the Jets. Now this is a divisional game. The Jets they couldn't figure out a way to beat the Patriots. I think they're going to lose 2 in a row because the Bills are going to absolutely murder the Jets.
I mean, the Bills are on fire.
Bills are on fire. They're just going to go out and just stomp. I'm totally all right with that one.
All right, the Vikings at the District of Columbia Commanders. I'm taking the Vikings. They're going to go into FedEx Field and they're going to take a UPS Brown shit all over the Commanders.
I believe so. I believe it.
God, that UPS fun.
Dadgummit. Oh. I mean, I want the Astros to win because I hate giving people from Philadelphia anything to cheer for.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's face it, their entire fan base, they're one bad day away from burning their entire city to the ground. I mean, this is the same fan base where you get the Phillies, you got the Flyers, you've got the Sixers, and you've got the Eagles, right? Eagles are hosting the Cowboys back in the 90s. I think it was Jimmy Johnson's first year. It was snowing, and the fans start throwing snowballs onto the field at the Cowboys sideline, right? Mm-hmm. Well, as the game is ending, the Cowboys won that game, I believe. or no, it was Jimmy Johnson's second year. So the Cowboys won that game. And as the Cowboys are leaving the field, Phillies fans were packing snowballs with C and D cell batteries.
Oh, Jesus.
And just chucking them. Chucking them. I'm sitting there going, what? The Philly fans are trash, man. I'm just going to go on record and say Philadelphia fans are just
100%.
trash, dude.
And just Philadelphia in general. Like, they make a good sandwich, but that's about all they got going for them.
Yeah.
All you had to do is put like cheese whiz on it, and you're good. And it has to be old cheese whiz. That's all that fucking shit is. It's the same sandwich. All you had to do is put cheese whiz on it.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not from Philly, though, so I don't give a shit.
I'm not either.
I mean, if we have
just the
Philly listeners,
just
they
put
might
cheese
have
whiz on. I mean, just the pure statement alone. He states very clearly, just put cheese whiz on it.
That's what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you find your man putting more than 3 ingredients in his bowl of ramen, that motherfucker is a felon.
You don't know what the fucking Philly cheesesteak sandwich is? That's what.
Yes, I know what a Philly cheesesteak sandwich is, David. Oh my God.
The only thing that makes them really great and different is they put actual cheese whiz on it. That's the sandwich. That's the actual Philly cheesesteak sandwich.
We're going to need some of our listeners who actually from the Philadelphia area that haven't unsubscribed to our channel yet to weigh in on this. Give us the breakdown as to what actually goes into a Philly cheesesteak sandwich. It's not that we're trying to prove David wrong, but we just
don't want him to be right.
One
sec. I know a guy.
You know,
he knows a guy. His name starts with a G and ends with an E.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to name any names, but initials are Google. Moving on, the Seahawks at the Cardinals. Because Kyler Murray cannot win a game that anybody is actually going to ever remember. I'm going to say the Seahawks on this one.
Same. I just wanted you to be the one to say it first.
I was going to put cards in there with a small C. The Rams at the Buccaneers. I'm going to give Tom Brady the benefit of the doubt. They're going to figure this game out, and they're going to beat the Rams.
I think so.
Because let's face it, it doesn't matter. They still have Matt Stafford, who is having an existential identity crisis. And for whatever reason, I think maybe he took one too many knocks on the head and he slipped through the cracks of the concussion protocol, and he thinks he's in Detroit now. So yeah, there's that. Titans at the Chiefs. This is probably a no-brainer. We're going to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Over the Titans. Next is the Ravens at the Saints. The Saints managed to beat the Raiders, but they're hosting the Ravens.
I think they're going to carry the momentum through, especially being at home. I think they can pull it off.
I want to say you're right, man, but for whatever reason, dude, I'm leaning towards the Ravens, and here's why. I'm thinking because the Raiders didn't have much of a running game to begin with, right? So the Saints defense, they're more about the pass. Now, while Lamar Jackson does have a pretty decent arm, he can still throw pretty accurately downfield. Well, Lamar Jackson is still pretty mobile, and they've got a semi-decent running game. I think what they're going to end up doing is they're going to start the game off just sticking with the run. They're going to run the ball down the throat of the Saints for probably, I don't know, I want to say maybe like a 70-30 split. No, I'm going to say 60-40 split. They're going to run the ball 60% of the time, and it's going to open up the passing lanes. and they're gonna catch the original Philly Whiz. Okay, whatever. You know, it's funny because the internet is much like a Democrat. You can cherry pick sound bites and turn them into anything. There's a
No, if
website
it's on the
what's
internet,
the
it's
name
got
of
to be
that
true.
website? Oh, what's the name of it? Wikipedia.
Okay. The reason why I know this is because I was watching a documentary about the Philly cheesesteak. I go into cooking shit. On one side, because there's two restaurants in Philly for the original cheesesteak, Philly cheese.
Literally across the street from each other.
Yeah, literally. One uses cheese whiz, the other one uses American cheese. I think that's the big difference. But they don't know which one's like the original. So you could actually say
depends on who you ask.
Yeah. No, it's
Cheese Whiz officially made its debut in 1953. Okay.
Actually, it's not the original recipe anymore. That's what's really sad. If you actually got like the older stuff, it's more cheesier than the newer stuff. They put too much of the oil in it.
Okay. Now.
Yeah, you don't.
Wait. We said that the Philly cheesesteak, you specifically, David, said that the Philly cheesesteak is made with Cheese Whiz. Right?
Okay, yes.
Okay. Cheese Whiz was invented and introduced into the market in 1953. The Philly cheesesteak was invented when Pat Oliveri, a hot dog vendor and namesake to Pat Kings of Steaks, threw beef on his grill to make a sandwich in 1930. So if I do the math, carry the one. 1930 happened before 1953.
You might need to Google
that. I did.
1930 come before 1950. We have to Google.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen his GT score. You might have to just to make sure that he's on the same page.
I mean, it's been a while since I have had to apply mathematics, but I think that's a difference of 23 years.
Jay might get a little upset when the first thing I do when I see you punch you in the fucking face. Just saying.
He'd probably laugh.
All right. So,
I might just grab his goddamn fucking leg, rip it off, and start beating you with his fucking leg.
All right. So getting back to the Monday night game, you're taking the Saints, Chris. David, who are you going to pick?
I got confused. Saints and what? Who?
The Ravens.
Ravens.
I mean, I'm leaning towards Baltimore. I don't know why.
I do think
we're gonna handle this democratically here. So
I would go with the Saints.
Okay. All right. So Saints over the Ravens. Okay. All right. So let's review these, and then I'm going to call Colin, and we're going to get joke time in before we go over our NASCAR news.
Yeah, because there's only one thing we're fucking talking about.
Dude, yeah. We're going to get into that. So we got the Eagles over the Texans. We got the Falcons over the Chargers. The Bears. Why did I have Chicago over the Bears? Holy shit. What was I thinking? Oh, wait. David was talking about the fucking Philly cheesesteak.
My stupid got onto you.
It really
did. It spratted all over your face and got into your brain.
It's contagious.
We're not that close.
It's STD.
I mean,
stupid transmitted disease.
I mean, the last time I checked, my name's Johnny Skelton, not Monica Lewinsky, and you were the furthest thing from Bill Clinton.
Well, I mean, that got on
we were never truly alone. I mean, you don't blame me for doing what I did. Have you seen Hillary before?
You do look like a blue dress, dude.
I don't own a dress. I own blue shirts, but I don't own a blue dress. I don't own a dress, period.
Well, how long is the shirt? I mean, it could do double duty.
It's a fishing shirt, so I mean, it comes down to my waist. I mean, it's not like an old time like Charles Dickens nightgown.
Chris, I gotta put this fucking shit up. Let's be serious.
No. You know where you knew what you were getting when you invited me.
I know, right?
Hey, at least Johnny and I haven't been talking shit about you this whole time through chat. We've managed to refrain ourselves this time.
We did
through chat, but
through chat.
You know, you blank. We don't have to go over it. It's like, oh, that was tiring last time. We're just gonna have to do it right in front of your face.
Not really. I felt that was very efficient.
I mean, obviously he's wiping his nose with his hands, so my hands are not clean, Papa.
Hey, what's for supper?
Hey, what's for supper?
All right, I got the picks of the week.
All right, I'm going to give Colin a call here real quick.
Okay. So this week I'm actually getting a guest on. We're going to get Cynthia back onto the show this week. She's coming in. The only problem with it.
My guy. All right, so let me get you all set up here. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, and whatever David is identifying as this week, angry faithful. It's the time that you've come to know, love, and in some cases dread. And if that is the case, well, shame on you. But it's my genetic code, my offspring, my claim to immortality, on display for your ear holes and your eye holes. It's joke time with Colin. What you got this week, bud?
First off, how do you make the intros better and better every week? Second of all,
it's a gift.
I see. And how do parents punish a blanket? They rearrange the furniture.
Say that again, Johnny. Repeat that, because I barely heard it.
Okay. You want to say that again, Colin?
How do parents punish a blanket? They rearrange the furniture. Just so you know, people, I think blind and deaf people are like some of the kindest people. So I don't want to get any hate. That's already gone.
No. You
Oh,
don't get
man.
any hate, bud. You really don't. Oh my God.
That was a good one.
I mean,
that
this
was
is
fantastic.
the same kid that while he's sitting in the dugout of one of his Little League games was telling a joke to some of his teammates. Not really sure of a lot of their backgrounds, but this is just the savagery of my kid. One week, he sits there and goes, "Why can't orphans play baseball?" It's because they don't know where home is.
Oh my God.
I heard that, and I mean, I wanted to get onto him, but at the same time, I'm just like,
you're kind of proud about that.
Tear up and just be like, "That's my boy. That's my boy."
I almost got thrown out of my own game for yelling at the ref. So.
Yeah. So I mean, he's arguing balls and strikes to the umpire.
But like,
I'm like, okay.
So bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. But,
oh, man. Fantastic.
Let me put this in context for you people. he called a strike on me when it was in the other batter's box. I'm
Holy
like,
shit.
He's just expanding the strike zone.
How's your week been going, bud? Good.
I physically saw the catcher have to like extend his arm.
All right. Well, I'll call you tomorrow, Colin, or I'll get a hold of your mom. I'll find out where I'm picking y'all up from. But looking forward to this weekend. I get my boys. It's gonna be good times. But give your brother a hug for me, bud. I love you guys.
Love you.
All right, later.
Later.
Oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, my genetic code on display. Yet once again, joke time with Colin, brought to you by me. You're welcome. Moving on, we've got NASCAR news.
Yes. Yes.
Did
Okay,
something happen
so-
this week? I don't know what happened.
But
okay.
Nobody has
So
said
I made
anything.
it-
I've got some mixed feelings on this, so just you're gonna have to bear with me for just a minute. So this was the cutoff race to decide who's going to race for the championship in the respective series. The three main national touring series for NASCAR, the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. They were in Martinsville, and Noah Gragson, he goes in and he's the favorite to win next week in Phoenix for the Xfinity side. He's our Black Rifle Coffee driver on the Xfinity Series for JR Motorsports. So we are rooting for Noah all day on Saturday to win the championship. Next year he's going to be a full-time driver in the Cup Series. I'm looking forward to that because I think if anything, Noah's going to make mistakes, but he's turned the corner. He's gone from somebody who's gotten penalized owner points and driver points at Road America in Virginia by intentionally wrecking somebody to going out and rattling off like 4 wins in a row or something like that. I think it was like 3 or 4 wins in a row this year.
4 or 5.
Yeah, it was like 4. Yeah. So, and so I'm like, man, it's insane. I love this kid. And I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see where his career goes. Junior, listening to Dale Jr. on his download on his podcast, he went from not wanting to talk about Noah because Noah wasn't doing good things to now he can't he speaks volumes about this kid, and he does it in such a manner. You can tell it's like he's incredibly proud of where Noah's come from to where he's at now. But then we got the Cup side. Transfer race is the cutoff race to decide who races for the championship in Phoenix. The championship 4 are Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, and Ross Chastain.
Hold on. We're gonna
wait.
No, I'm gonna cut right there. I'm gonna put on my video that I made.
2 spots here.
Gotta get him? Yeah, I gotta get him. These 2.
All right, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. Keep coming. Hang on, man. Checker point.
And then, okay, now we can go.
Okay. So I'm not a fan of what Ross Chastain did. I'm not a fan of Ross Chastain. But
he pulled
when you get out of the car, and the first thing out of your mouth is that I played NASCAR 2005 on the GameCube and you could do it there. I didn't know if it would work, but we tried it anyway.
I didn't think that was going to work.
It was the absolute hail Mary as far as NASCAR was concerned. He didn't wreck anybody. He didn't move anybody out of the way. I'm looking at you, Ty Gibbs. That little entitled bastard. I can't stand that guy. He is going to end up in more walls when he comes to the Cup Series. Oh, it's going to be beautiful to watch the amount of money his grandfather loses on his race cars. Anyways, I mean, let's face it. Okay, so the way that Joe Gibbs, really I'll get back to the championship race here in just a second, but the way that Joe Gibbs treats drivers on their way out, a la Kyle Busch. Okay, Kyle Busch is going to go race for Richard Childress next year, and he's going to take over the number 8 car that's currently occupied by Tyler Reddick. Okay. I saw a TikTok on it, and it's so, I mean, like it spoke to my soul. It showed that Joe Gibbs, who is a very openly religious man, okay, treats drivers in such a horrific manner. How was it said? It said, Joe Gibbs has shown that he's willing to lock a driver out like a very, very popular national pastor will when the city of Houston floods.
Whoever could you mean, Johnny?
This guy on TikTok compared Joe Gibbs to Joel Osteen,
the basement,
and I think it is fucking hilarious. I mean, I do. I absolutely love that analogy because, I mean, Kyle Busch is sitting there going, "Look, man. I mean, I'm even willing willing to take some of it a pay cut to make sure that I can stay in this car because he believes in the equipment. He believes in the organization." But when it's very painfully obvious that Joe Gibbs has been grooming his idiot grandchild to take over a car, we just need to find room for him there, you know. Kyle Busch has brought you more wins and has brought you 2 championships. He is by far and away your most winningest driver in your organization's history. And that includes when Tony Stewart drove. Tony Stewart won a championship for Joe Gibbs, brought the first championship to Joe Gibbs Racing back when it was the number 20 Home Depot Chevrolet. Okay. Then here comes Danny Hamlin. Danny Hamlin's whacking, you know, he's reeling off wins, but Danny Hamlin is much like, oh, how can we put this very gently? Denny Hamlin is like the Buffalo Bills of NASCAR. Gets to the final round, but he struggles.
Can't quite.
Okay. If we're going to use football analogies here, and I know that Joe Gibbs himself would love that because let's face it, he's famous for coaching who? The Washington Redskins. What I think that Ty Gibbs is going to do to that organization is much like what the Buffalo Bills did to Leon Lett, who was trying to recover a fumble for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. You remember that play? I know you remember that play, Chris. Leon Lett stumbles, rumbles, and bumbling and stumbling. He picks up a fumble. Jim Kelly fumbles the football. Leon Lett picks it up, and he starts hot dogging it, right? He's holding the ball down by his feet, and he's like, I got this. I'm going to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yep. Didn't he bring it
I think it was John Beebe. It was Beebe, right? For the Bills. Comes running up the sidelines out of nowhere and just dives full out and knocks the ball out of Leon Lett's hands, and it goes out the back of the end zone for basically a touchback, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs is going to come in and he's going to, he's going to perform. He's going to drive the car. He's going to do things that he's not supposed to be doing because nobody's telling him not to do it. But the second he puts a bumper to anybody or he moves anybody out of the way to gain a position or to win a race, you will almost guarantee that the following week, it doesn't matter what track they're at, that kid is going to end up in the wall.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Ty Gibbs is going to miss the playoffs his rookie year. he's going to miss the playoffs his next year. And until he finds a bit of humility and remembers what he does for a living is inherently dangerous and he needs to follow the driver's code and make friends in the garage, he's not gonna get very far in the sport. I mean, and I don't want to say that there's going to be a bounty on Ty Gibbs' head, but
no, but they'll slap him back down to reality.
Oh yeah, people like Kevin Harvick, they're going to be like they're going to be the standard police. Kevin Harvick is still part of the old guard. Okay. And I say old guard because while the last person to actually race on the track with Dale Earnhardt Sr. was Kurt Busch, and he retired this year, so that era is over. I'm talking about people that raced with people like Jimmy Spencer and Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson in his heyday. Kevin Harvick is one of those guys. Kevin Harvick, while his nickname may be Happy, that's not necessarily the case, because Kevin Harvick is one of the people in that garage and on that track that is the most easily pissed off, to be pissed off. Martin Truex Jr., who also races for Joe Gibbs Racing in the number 19 Toyota, he didn't win this year. And I mean, granted, he has one more race to go this year, which is in Phoenix. He's not eligible for the championship 4, but he most likely he's not going to win in Phoenix, and he's going to go an entire year without winning a single race, which has never happened in his career before. He decided he's going to come back for at least one more year. He's not going to have any part of it. And the only thing I think that's going to keep Martin Truex Jr. from putting Ty Gibbs in the wall is the fact that he's the boss's grandson and his teammate. But people like Kevin Harvick, people like Chase Briscoe, people like Ryan Blaney. And I even hate to say this because I cannot stand Joey Logano. God, I can't stand him. Joey Logano is famous for putting the bumper on people. Okay. Ty Gibbs is going to spend more time in the wall and more time out of the groove and out of the throttle because somebody moved him up the track than he is going to be on the lead lap. Okay. But getting back to the Martinsville race, every position that you gain in relation to your other competitors means points as it relates to the playoff format. So we're coming with one lap to go. And Ross Chastain, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch the video with the in-car audio. His crew chief is telling him, hey, look, we need 2 positions. He's like, all right. He's coming down the back straightaway, and he arcs it into turn 4 at just the right angle. And he full throttle. I mean, he just mashes the gas, puts the right side of the car into the wall, and rides, literally rides the rim all the way around. That lap that he ran was like 18.74, I think. It's a track record for the fastest lap ever recorded during a race at Martinsville.
Oh, it smashed the pole. Yeah.
Oh,
what's really sad is a lot of people that actually did like a computer simulation and everything. It's like, that shouldn't have fucking worked.
No, it shouldn't have worked. And I'm like, okay. So I watched. There was a Chastain fan who was in turn 4, the turn 3, turn 4 seats, right, in the grandstands, recording the end of the race, right?
Yeah.
Watching Chastain's car ride that corner all the way down the front straightaway to beat Denny Hamlin out and eliminate Denny Hamlin from the playoffs, it looked unreal. It looked like an NPC who was glitching.
Yeah.
Because all these other cars, they're going at the speeds that you think they're going to be going, but here comes Ross Chastain like on a slot. Everybody in the crowd was like, did you see that? And I'm listening to the in-car audio from a lot of the different drivers, and they're like, what what's Ross doing? What's Chastain doing? What's the one car doing? Like, did that work? They're like, yeah, man, he made it in. And, you know, I mean, listening to Chase Elliott's in-car audio, they're like, you know, his crew chief's like, hey, man, you made the transfer, you know, we're in. And he goes, Chastain made it too. And he goes, did that work? And he was like, yeah, man, he beat out the 11. And he's just like, I mean, like to a T. Even Joey Logano was just like, wow. You know, they could not believe that actually happened.
Well, there's
the only person that really didn't see it was right. I mean, even Denny Hamlin didn't even see it happening, right? Because Denny Hamlin was ahead of Ross Chastain coming out of turn 4.
Mm-hmm.
And just the amount of speed coming off of that. I mean, just the amount of momentum that he carried through that turn down the back or down the front stretch.
I mean, you could hear it. It was like,
yeah, I mean, dude.
But a lot of people.
Kyle Larson got out of the car and he was like, look, man, it's not a good look for our sport. It's an embarrassment. You know, and a lot of people, they're clowning on Kyle Larson. They're like, well, you're just mad because you didn't think to try it first. Well, Kyle Larson did when he was running the number 42 car for Chip Ganassi Racing. It didn't work out for him because it's not supposed to work.
Yeah.
Carl Edwards tried that move and it didn't work out for him either. Right.
You know, there were some consequences for that though. I was reading right beforehand that he got suspended because they went and looked, NASCAR officials went and looked at the car, and he got suspended because of seat modifications to the car to accommodate his giant fucking balls.
You know, I was thinking you were going to be serious. But, you know, I don't value Kyle Petty's opinion for a lot of things because I think he's outspoken for a career that really didn't go a whole lot of places, considering who his dad was. Now, you can make the same argument about Dale Jr. versus Dale Sr., but you don't see Kyle Petty in the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm saying. Now, of course, I'm an Earnhardt fan, so there's that. Anyway, but here's the thing: Kyle Petty did go on record.
Dale would have absolutely done too.
Yeah. So I mean, but here's the thing: no, Dale Sr., you know, he's famous for that pass in the grass. It wasn't technically a pass. He got moved down into the infield grass, and he just made it stick.
Mm-hmm.
But by all that move that Ross Chastain pulled off, I think we'll never see it again.
No.
Well, there's a lot of people.
I think you'll see it attempted, but nobody's going to be able to pull it off.
There's a lot.
I mean, and it's going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, you see it, and the second that it fails, NASCAR will step in and say, look, if you do that, you will be penalized. One, because you're tearing up the safer barrier. Two, if it doesn't work and that car ricochets back into across the racetrack, you can kill people.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I led off this whole segment with it was the ultimate Hail Mary.
Yeah. I'd be very surprised if they don't put a rule.
If they don't make a rule against it.
Yeah. I would be very surprised.
Well, there's there's actually a lot of people that are upset about that whole thing actually happening. And they're like, how is this okay? But you have someone like, you know, slightly tapping another car.
There's a difference between
I can see some fines.
The difference. But if the situation ended up to where he spins out, there was 5 or 6 other fucking cars that he would have crashed into.
No, he was right in the middle of the fucking pack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He would have wadded up a lot of cars.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now to David's argument, where you got guys that get into the wall, you go to Darlington. Darlington is known for the Darlington stripe.
Yeah,
it refers to the right side of your car getting up into the wall.
Yep.
And the joke is that if you don't end up with a Darlington stripe on your car, did you even pull it off of the hauler? Okay.
Yep.
So it's just like the thing with Bristol. If your car at the end of a race in Bristol doesn't have, if your car is perfect, you didn't run.
Nope.
Okay. short track racing is designed for fast paces. It's designed for close quarters. It's designed for beating and banging to a degree. While what Chastain did was technically within the rules,
but it might change next year.
It very well might. Now, it just depends on what the competition committee and versus the safety committee decide to talk about during the off season. But yeah, it was a punk move. I mean, I've got to side with Kyle Petty on this one. It was a punk move. Does it bring a lot of does it bring a lot of attention to the sport? Does it set NASCAR up for a high viewership going into the championship race next weekend at Phoenix? Yeah. I'm going to skip a lot of football to watch that race, specifically because I'm looking for Chase. Me personally, I'm pulling for Chase Elliott to win his second title. He's favored to win his second title next week anyway, because he historically does well at Phoenix. He does. I mean, we're looking at it. Let me see here.
Oh, did you have anything else to add about the NASCAR stuff? Are you talking about, or Chris?
Yeah, I'm fixing to go over that.
Here. Not you, Johnny. We all know.
Oh no. No, I just wanted to make sure I got that. I had to tell that one story. I wanted to make sure that one got in there.
Oh, before I get into before I get into the odds for next week, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to get back in the car.
Oh, is he?
He's going to run. He's going to run he's going to run a late model race. He's going to run in the South Carolina 400 in Concord. It's going to be. I mean, this car looks amazing. Chris, I don't know if you remember when his dad ran the Bass Pro car. It was the gold Bass Pro car with the black hood.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what this paint scheme looks like. Oh, dude, it's pretty.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty, and it's a late model car. So it's running Hoosier tires. It's got the flared fenders.
Yeah,
but this car looks badass, dude.
Nice.
It looks so good. And he's also going to run. He also unveiled his the ride that he's going to, because he usually runs one Xfinity race a year. He's going to run a Bass Pro Shops club card car with his Xfinity team. Next year, one race. I mean, he always doesn't want to, like I said, he doesn't want off because the guy you can't keep him out from behind a wheel. That's just all there is to it. Let me see here. Let's go down. Okay. So we're looking at, where the heck did it go? All right. Okay. So we're looking at odds going into next week. Now the championship for, we've got Elliott, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, and Joey Logano. Chase Elliott is plus 200 to win. He's got the better odds. The long shots are Ross Chastain and Joey Logano at plus 330. Christopher Bell comes in at a short second at plus 260 to win that race. But it's mostly because, I know I'm keeping track in here, but that is the disdainful sound of an Astros fan, everybody. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Dude, okay, look. I want to see the Astros win because I like to see the women in my family smile, but I want to see Mattress Mac win $86 million because he always puts in this huge bet at the beginning of every season for the Astros to win it all. And he runs this promotion with his furniture company down here that if the Astros win it all the, the furniture that you bought during the season up till like the end of the season, you get 100% of your money back. He covers his losses on the furniture from his winnings with that bet.
Oh,
but if he loses the bet, he's only out the the couple of million that he put down on the Astros, but he actually comes out ahead either way.
Right.
It's genius. This guy's been in business for years, and he donates furniture, mattresses. During Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah, it was that guy.
During Hurricane Harvey, when it was flooding real bad down here, he opened up his warehouse, and people who were evacuated out of their homes because of the flooding, he let them stay there, and he set up his warehouse as kind of like a shelter and let people stay on those mattresses. Yeah. So they had a place to sleep.
Yep.
So
you better like a Christian church didn't do that during that time frame.
I know, and I'm trying to think why. It was because
maybe he didn't want
people seeing. Oh, what was it? Something about a Ferrari parked in the parking garage he didn't want people seeing, or something like that.
Or no, I think what it was, he didn't want people to go down the basement and accidentally find like $100,000.
Didn't they have it stashed in the walls or something? Didn't the plumbers?
The plumbers actually busted into a wall to get one of the plumbings, and they found like checks and cash in the wall.
Yeah, it was wads of cash hidden in the walls.
Yeah. Well, bear in mind that used to be the Rockets, the old Rockets Stadium. The arena where the Rockets used to play, but still. I'm like,
no, I'm not going with the Rockets. I'm going.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Slow your roll, timeout, ceasefire. Just turn back around and pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, David. Go back to your T-flop videos. But what I'm saying is that,
shut up, Chris.
Joel Osteen and his wife Victoria, I never really liked their God wants you to be wealthy message, and I'm just like, oh man, he really, and if you drive around like on 45, I-10, 610, places like that around here, you'll see the Joel Osteen billboards up, right? His wife looks like she hasn't aged a day. However, Joel Osteen, his face looks like he's so much younger. I mean, it's hilarious the amount of plastic.
Which one of the Star Treks with F. Murray Abraham where they had
Nemesis.
Yeah, there you go, Nemesis. They had to keep staying. Yeah, that's.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the nerd portion of Nerd Sports. Brought to you by our co-host Chris.
I still like that one video I said.
What I'm here for.
I think the people that I'm renting from this Airbnb or someone that reminds me of Nazis. Yes. Like those are
they
fucking Klingons.
Oh, I think they're the words or the basically he was calling them Nazis, and it was it was a Klingon flag, but it just happened to be red and black, and it's got the Klingon in the center.
Yeah.
Then you look through the rest of the house, because I watched the whole video. You look through the rest of the house. This is covered in Star Trek and Star Wars shit. And they got, Legos and everything there. But it was like, come on, man. Like,
for those of you keeping score at home, it is the bottom of the fifth with one out, and the Phillies are up 6-0 on the Houston Astros right now.
So you might actually get to see them in the World Series.
Yeah, it's possible. And I think part of this, and I'm not trying to make excuses for Houston, but I think part of it is Lance McCullers Jr. He is the weak spot in their rotation.
Mm.
So for those Philadelphia Philly fans that are part of our listening base, don't get too high on the hog right now because, well, never mind. Reese Hoskins just hit a home run. So it is
Yeah,
now
he's not there
7-0.
much longer.
It's now 7-0 Philadelphia. Don't get too high on yourselves because it's just Lance McCullers Jr. He hasn't been impressive this playoffs at all. So
all right, let's wrap this baby up.
Yeah, let's land this plane. I'm looking for Chase Elliott to do well. I look for him to win the race, clinch his second title. I'm looking for the Dawsonville pool room to sound the siren at close to midnight next Sunday. He's going to wheel that number 9 Napa Chevrolet Camaro for Hendrick Motorsports back to victory lane, back to championship lane. And he's going to spend the next week staying up late, going to New York City, doing a lot of talk shows. I know, 7-0. I know. Hey, it's Lance McCullers Jr. He's the weak spot in the rotation during this last couple of. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I know. I'm sorry.
Just remember, hate sex is still sex.
I can hear the heart breaking from over here.
David, I'm going to say this to you with all the love and endearment in my heart. Yes? Oh, you're going to love this part because David was talking about how hate sex is still sex in the end. David, it doesn't matter because I'll still have sex tonight and you won't.
Oh, hey, just because he's fucking himself, it's still sex.
Oh, look at him getting his date drunk.
I'm getting my date drunk right now.
Look, man, you can't claim that you can't claim to sleep with exotic women because you changed their names from Vaseline to Vaselina or Lubridema to, or Lubriderm to Lubridema. You can't do that. St. Ives is not, she's not a Swiss nun.
I thought she was a bikini mom.
No. I just changed the oil to the flavor and everything like that. It works out perfectly fine. And you get the tropical.
So just so that we know it.
Just to make you use
do you prefer?
Come on.
Do you prefer 5W30 or 10W40?
No, cocoa.
Which viscosity works better?
Right. I mean, because coconut oil breaks down pretty quick, man.
Yeah.
Organic too.
And then you can lick your lips too. Or lick your fingers.
Lick your up.
That's only if she properly prepares herself to have her salad tossed.
Wonder how that.
There's a ritual that needs to happen before you get.
There does. Yeah, I mean it has to be a ritual. She has to be prepared to do butt stuff, dude. I'm just all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
How's that work out?
Well, for starters, they don't bend you over the rice sacks. It goes the other way.
It depends on which side of this equation that you're standing on.
All right. I mean, when he's looking off into the distance, he's trying to formulate this question. I see him playing the white kid in American Me.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I mean,
oh man.
I mean, your name is not Wade Wilson, and you're not celebrating Women Empowerment Day.
He is not married to Hank Hill.
Did you say Faith Hill?
Hank Hill.
Oh.
I mean, they might. I'm not gonna, no judgment.
I was like, are you implying that Tim McGraw takes it in the butt?
Well,
if I was to say that, I would imply it would.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that I'd know you well enough to at this point to say that you're just going to call a spade a spade.
I'm not saying it. He is a big old lefty. I'm just saying.
You know what's funny about his anti-gun stance? His daughter, Maggie May, their oldest daughter,
Yeah,
She's a gunsmith. She builds her own ARs, and she is a hunting advocate.
that is fucking amazing. I love
I know.
that.
She's just
I'm like,
rebellious.
That is so
that girl right there. I mean, yeah, she's gonna emasculate some manly men, because she's gonna go out there and she's gonna outshoot them, and she's gonna out hunt them. They're gonna be like, well, I shot this 6-pointer. That's cute, Bambi. I shot a fucking 12-pointer from 1,200 yards away. Yeah,
with a gun that I built.
yeah. She can be like, I bored this damn rifle out. I put a muzzle brake on it. I've got glass that you can't even conceive.
Yep.
And I didn't even have to track my elk down. I dropped it from across the valley.
Hot as fuck.
Right? You're like, I'm oddly attracted to this stranger.
Pregnant.
Oh man. Why do we always go off the rails at the end? How is that?
Well, we know no one's listening.
That's not true, man.
I mean,
that's not true.
There might be a couple of people.
David, contrary to what you've been led to believe your entire life, we're here for you. You're the one that cuts. You're the one that cuts the recordings
only
off.
be here contractually.
We're not the ones going out for milk and cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I love you guys.
I might go out to try to find a chicken burrito or something, but I eventually maybe.
This just goes to show that you and I grew up in the same era, because as soon as you said chicken burritos, the first thing that popped into my head was chicken heads. chicken head. Bark. Like, wow, where did that random thought generate from? Like, how dark and deep was the transom of my brain that just, oh, hey, I'm relevant now.
Pulled up a core memory. You've been sitting on that one for a while.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Okay, so just kind of put this out there. Who's gonna go see Wakanda Forever when it comes out?
I'm gonna.
I want to be excited about it, but I'm not. My oldest stepson, his birthday is 6 days after mine, but we're gonna celebrate our birthdays together, because I don't really care. I'm turning 45. It's whatever. So we're gonna go to, I think it's Pearland, because they've got a movie grill place down there. It's gonna be the weekend that I've got my boys. We're like, I think on the 19th we're gonna go see it.
I'm
not excited about it.
I do want to see it just because I'm a huge Marvel fan. The MCU I've been a big fan of. This one I couldn't get too far into it, but the contrarian in me also said, because there were all those people that came out and said, if you're white, don't watch this on the opening weekend. Give your ticket to a journalist with a person, or people of color need to see this movie more than you do. And the contrarian in me is like, oh God, I gotta go see it on opening night now, just to say that I did.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Just to twist the knife.
It wasn't designed. I mean, it wasn't produced. It wasn't designed to be racially motivated, like, at all.
Exactly.
In fact, Chadwick Boseman, God rest his soul, said he's like, it's not about color.
Exactly.
And I didn't get the whole black empowerment thing. I'm like, yes, it's an African nation. It's Wakanda, and the Black Panther is a black character. I get that, but it's like, the left media and Hollywood wanted to make this about race so bad that it's like they almost ruined the idea of Black Panther as a standalone franchise, specifically to make it about race. And I'm like, okay, but now we start seeing Marvel kind of leaning towards this women's only thing, right? And it's like, okay, I'm all for that. I loved the Jane Foster storyline in Love and Thunder. I loved it. I mean, Love and Thunder, it had potential to be such a great movie, And I think it could have been like really great as far as like Dark was concerned, especially if Christian Bale would have been able to play that character the way that he wanted to. And but I love the whole Jane Foster story arc. I do. The fact that at the end she got to go to Valhalla, that was amazing. But like, you start seeing like hints of it, especially at the end of Endgame, when you had all the female Marvel heroes teaming up and I'm just like, okay, why does Pepper Potts need to be there?
Yeah, it was so on the nose.
And the fact that they just missed a whole opportunity to have Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel rather, be the decisive turn of the battle. Yeah, she took out Thanos' ship by herself, but then she kind of just
was there.
Yeah.
Like she was there for the empowerment scene, but like she 1v1 Thanos hand to hand.
Yeah.
And made him back down. Like that's the end of the fight right there, fellas.
Like the strongest female character in that fight was the Scarlet Witch.
Right.
Yeah.
Like she is one of the most powerful characters in the entire MCU, if not the most powerful.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know.
Legion.
I think Marvel, Kevin Feige specifically, he's listening to the woke crowd a little bit too much. And it's like, okay, with the ethos that Stan Lee, the great late Stan Lee, said, he's like, Marvel Comics is supposed to be a window into society. The comics are supposed to reflect current events to that extent of, it's supposed to show the brighter side of humanity, mankind trying to overcome its own adversity, kind of a situation, right? Everybody has the potential to be super, kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
But we've got this whole woke mentality of, we're going to force the LGBTQHLMOG, whatever they're calling themselves nowadays, they're the whole alphabet crew is trying to ram their ideologies down everybody's throat. And yes, I understand the implication there, pun intended. But it's like, we don't need that. Okay, movies are supposed to be an escape from reality. Okay, that's why we go to the theater, is to be able to take ourselves and put ourselves into a world or a time period to where for at least an hour and a half we can kind of forget about what's going on outside, right? It's therapeutic. It's a very cathartic experience, at least it's supposed to be, and it's not that I'm like so insecure in my heterosexuality where it's like, okay, I'm not going to go watch Lightyear because it's got a lesbian kiss in it or something like that. Right. I don't really care. I mean, I care to the extent that it's like, okay, we have enough gender and to this point species dysphoria going on in the world. These are not rational people. These people have problems, and and I'm going to say it just like we did at the beginning of the show. There are two genders, people. Two genders, male and female. Even Bill Nye the Science Guy said so in episodes of his Saturday morning show. And now all of a sudden, because he's screaming left, he's like, oh no, that was wrong. I never said that. Well, the thing about the internet, dude, is it's kind of forever,
Delete all evidence.
Yeah, but somebody always takes a screenshot, dude.
I know.
I'm telling you, you can't purge the internet. You just can't do it. Okay. Even if you've got the 96, what it was, 96 terabyte a second download speed that NASA's got because they're plugged into the backbone of the internet. You can't use that to effectively go in and erase anything permanently. Somebody always has it saved on an external drive somewhere.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. It's for Chris, not you. I keep on forgetting to send that to him.
But
I'll send it to you.
I get that we want people to feel like they're included. I get all that. And I'm going to continue to quote my favorite t-shirt. We need to make America offensive again.
Yes.
We really do. Okay. You know, it's like we can say Black Pride Month or Black History Month or, you know, Latin History Month or Gay Pride Month. But the second we talk about white history or straight pride, suddenly we're bigoted.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
oh, you're just being
we're always
exclusive.
branded as fascist because why? We believe in conservative values, but yet the left are willing to go to they're willing to take violent measures to make sure that we're being silenced.
Yeah.
By definition, that's very fascist at its core. You know, and I kind of got into it a little bit. I try to stay away from the political side of Twitter by not commenting on obvious idiotic posts.
But now you can.
Well, yeah, now I can. But you know, so to that, you know, I was like, okay, oh, where here? I'm pulling up the Twitter, my Twitter page here. Hold on.
By the way, Chris, that account that I got that video from is gone now.
I'll watch it.
Really?
Finish.
Okay, so let's go tweets. All right, so all right, Joe Biden. He's like, you can't be pro-insurrection and pro-cop. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. And I replied, you're an unreliable, unstable, unbalanced, and unoriginal puppet. I honestly think that your cognitive capacity is unable to handle the job that you were installed into. Your party is dangerous for freedom, and you are a danger to this country as a whole. Please step down. Right? Of course, it doesn't get any views because like it gets pushed down because of all the, you know, the people that are like, oh, Uncle Joe. So this one guy, you know, Twitter. I mean, Benny Johnson tweets out, you know, Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal, whatever, the CEO, the CFO, have left the company, leaving Elon Musk in charge of Twitter. And this was the day that he bought it, right? The day he comes in with the snake, let that sink in, right? Mm-hmm. This guy read the 269044491, basically read the black, right? Says, well, that's freedom speech read, replaced by Musk's version of free speech, prepare for a bunch of more hate, racism, and bigotry, along with xenophobia on Twitter. I reply to this guy. I'm like, so you're saying it's not okay to voice your opinion if it doesn't align with your political views? I hear your phone ringing. You might want to answer it. It's 1930s German government calling to take back their fascist talking points. # make Twitter offensive again. You know, and I'm like, look, man, the purpose of having a debate is to have open discourse.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's a lot.
It's okay to lose an argument, right?
A lot of stuff
it's
that
okay.
I don't agree with you on certain stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that Chris doesn't agree with me on a lot of stuff.
Right.
But you know, we're still gonna be friends.
Yeah. The only person that I agree with 100% of the time is me.
Exactly. You know,
I don't know about that.
But yet we're adult enough. We're adult enough, and I throw up the air quotes there. We're adult enough.
Thank God you did that.
To what? No, the air quotes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that he didn't say mature. He said adult. There's
okay.
I said adult.
Okay. We're at the age.
Yeah. I mean, legally, we're classified as adults. We can vote, and God forbid, we can drink without getting in trouble. But
we're gonna test that theory this weekend. Oh, Chris, you're gonna bring some mead?
If I get some bottle, yes.
Okay. Should have fucked head, but all right.
Yeah, I mean, we can disagree with each other. We can hear each other's viewpoints. We may not agree with them, but we have the understanding and the ability to take that information in. And, you know, and the beautiful thing about actual discourse is I'm not too stuck in my ways to say, all right, if you bring forth a viewpoint that I haven't considered and it makes sense to me, I may end up changing the way I feel about something. But that doesn't make me a sheep, because I still have my own opinions.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, so there's people that believe like the earth is only a couple of thousand years old, right? And I'm like, no, it's millions of years old, right? I mean,
Even
I
if
saw it
you're a
earlier. I saw it
freaking
on Twitter.
biology professor in fucking Alabama.
Well,
That
like,
fucking
okay,
happened to
so
a friend
like
of
you've got
mine.
the different grades of like plutonium, uranium, palladium, and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
As each one breaks down into the different isotopes, each one, as you step down, is the half-life result of the previous element, right? And it takes millions of years to obtain, like, I think it's palladium, I think it is. Anyways, I'm butchering that all up. I should have saved that Twitter thread, but I was like, man, that just, okay, that to me, that makes sense, right? I also believe in UFOs. I believe in ghosts, and I'm like, okay, because here I am. Well, I do believe in Jesus Christ. I do believe in God. I do believe in heaven, and I believe in hell. I also believe that it's incredibly arrogant of us as a species to think that we are in fact what God looks like, knowing that God is omnipotent, omnipresent. He can take on any form that he wants, and he can create with the snap of his fingers, right? And yes, I know I'm assuming God's gender. Please, dear God, crucify me. Bring it. I don't care.
Just say it.
Right? So, do I think that there's other life out there? Absolutely. Do I think there's other intelligent life out there? Absolutely. Do I think that they may be more advanced than we are technologically? Absolutely. The evidence is out there. Okay. And as hard as the world governments may be trying to suppress that information, they do a really bad job of it, because every conspiracy is born out of some kind of truth. And I know that you've heard that more than once, Chris, right?
Right. There's a
Okay.
nugget of truth.
So, to think that we're it makes life kind of meaningless. Out of the billions and billions of stars, out of the billions and billions of planets that are surrounding those stars within our own galaxy, not to mention our neighboring galaxies to the edge of the known universe at this time, to think that we are the only sentient life out there, it's kind of arrogant.
Right.
I
call it the epitome of arrogance.
Yeah, there you go. And it's just like these flat earthers, and it's like, okay, well, the earth is flat and everything else is round. Like, how dumb do you hear yourself?
Right.
And the number one argument against flat earth, a flat earth that I can possibly make, is that if the earth was actually flat, we wouldn't have anything here because cats would be constantly knocking that shit off the edge.
Yep. Absolutely.
But I mean, like, even back in the day, like, what was it? Newton and Galileo, everybody thought that the solar system was an Earth centric.
Yep.
Right. That everything revolved around the Earth, and it's like, no. And then we start seeing more of these more advanced computer models and just with photographs alone, and it's I put those kind of people in the same boat as the people who think that we faked the moon landing.
Yeah, 100%.
And I saw an interesting TikTok yesterday. If human life were to disappear today, after a couple of million years, actually maybe after about 1 million years, the only thing that would be left as evidence that mankind ever existed would be Buzz Aldrin's footprint on the moon.
I saw that video. And even that is only dependent upon there not being a meteor strike anywhere close to
it.
Because if there's a meteor strike somewhere
that NASA through their solar glare satellite saw an asteroid that was a mile wide hiding behind the sun's glare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to be launching, they're supposed to be watching that. And I think it's kind of funny that this information came out like maybe a month after the fact. But you remember how NASA launched a rocket to deliberately impact an asteroid?
Yes, it was a test to see if they could.
And they
actually
proved that they showed and they proved that it altered the course of this asteroid.
Right.
I think that that's kind of coincidental. I really do.
Yep.
Holy crap, man. The Astros have not showed up to play today at all. The bottom of the sixth, no outs, runners on first and second, 7-0 Philadelphia right now. Whew, that's what's the hockey coach and Letterkenny say? It's fucking embarrassing.
Fucking embarrassing.
But anyways, everybody, we were saying we're gonna cut it off. We still haven't done that. So I'm David Ackerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
And I am Chris Jack.
And thank you all for watching Nerd Sports 81.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know what that was.